Okay, I think we're live. Can you guys hear me? Or see me? See my screen? I'm just going to be checking the chat to make sure everything's going well. We have 6 viewers. Wow, that's like, I think this time's a good time. I was a little worried about just kind of trying to find a good time for everybody to join. Thank you so much for being here. Awesome. I know I tried to pick what I thought would be the best time for this one, because this one's the one that was most requested. And I can hear myself in the background where I'm playing somewhere. Give me 1 second. There's like an echo. Awesome. I know I found it. I had posted the live on Facebook. So, okay. So, what we're going to talk about in today's live is the coloring sheets. I can't really talk about coloring sheets without talking about puzzles, though, because really they're the same thing. So I really wanted to talk about the formulas and what makes these picture progressions, and then show you my favorite site for finding coloring sheets that you can use for these. So then you have like a plethora of templates. I am going to be sharing a 9-piece, a 12-piece, and a 16-piece puzzle. I'm going to share those in the description, and then I'll share the coloring sheet that I make today and these 3 that I have in the chat here, the live chat. So if you're watching the live chat on a computer, you can download those pieces directly from the chat, even on the replay. If you are watching from a phone, I don't think the live chat shows up on the replay, but I'm not sure, right? I'm still kind of trying to figure out just sort of how YouTube lives work. I do want to make sure that I answer all the questions in the chat. So if you run into any questions as I'm working, there's just like a slight delay, just a couple seconds, but I should be able to see it right away and address your questions if you have them. And then if you are watching the replay, leave your questions in the comments, and then I'll be happy to answer as well in there. Okay, so this is just a different way of doing them. We used to do them on YouTube. We used to do them on Zoom, and I think this is just better because I don't have a limit of how many people can watch. I think as the word starts spreading, hopefully we'll have more people here. I'm happy to take requests if you have any requests of what to do in the future. But yeah, if this is your first time here, I think most of you have either seen me on a live before or not, but I am one of the original members of Pixel Art Mysteries for Education. I am actually the one that made up all the formulas that you see on all these activities, and just kind of pioneered with Julianne and Debbie these digital activities that we use so much during the pandemic. I did used to teach in person, used them during the pandemic, used them while I was teaching in person, and then just last year I started teaching at a virtual school, so I am now teaching at a public online school. So I use these every single day. I'm not kidding, I use them all the time for every lesson. Personally, I teach math, but they have been used for every subject you can think of. I've made a lot for Spanish per requests. And if you go into the Pixel Art Mysteries for Education Facebook, you're going to find a ton of free ones there for all subjects. Okay. So I know Michelle and Caroline are in that Facebook group right now in the chat. So there's tons and tons to pick from in that group. Okay, that group is always linked in the description box of all of my YouTube videos. All right, let's dive right in. So coloring sheets, I'm going to start with that one, and then the templates that we're going to use are actually going to come from the puzzles, but I'm going to start off with just kind of talking about what the coloring sheets are. So I have 2 different kinds of coloring sheets. This one with the numbers is not my favorite, and I'm going to start there so I can tell you why I don't use these anymore. So this was the original one. I'm going to go ahead and share this in the chat. And oh, I love that. Yeah, they're very popular for language too. I'm copying this into the chat, and I'm also going to share it on Facebook. And let's put this on the comments here. Link 1. So then you can come back to the Facebook group later. All right, so the reason why I don't like this one is because you have to answer the questions in order because they're numbered, right? So if I erase, for example, question number 4 here, the only colors that you find are 1, 2, and 3 because those are the questions that come before it. But 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, those are all answered correctly, but because 4 hasn't been answered yet, that one doesn't come up, right? So I'm going to erase these. But now if I go in order, I answer 4 next, then 4 colored in. I answered 5 next, then 5 colored in, 6 next, right? So this type of template is good in the sense if you need students to work in order, right? Or if you want them to go in order, this is a good template for that. So it's in the chat. You're free to make a copy. But I'm not going to be talking about this particular coloring activity because I really don't use them anymore. I just don't find it, I guess, useful to limit kids on what they can answer or when they can answer them. So yeah, I do have a lot of those too that they turn green, but it still kind of like pauses them, right? It takes away that reward of completing the picture if they get stuck. Right? So like if they get stuck on number 3, but then they're able to finish 4 through 10, now their picture hasn't progressed. So it's kind of I feel like it's taking that away. A lot of kids really like figuring out what the picture is going to be. I know in this one, I mean, obviously, you know, it's a dragon, but to see what the colors are and stuff. So I feel like that's taking that away when they're doing the rest of the work correctly. But that's just how I feel, right? A lot of teachers don't feel that way, and that's totally okay, which is why I'm sharing this one. If you want more of these, of the ones that have the numbers in them, there's plenty of them in the group as well for free that you can always go through and check. Okay, so I'm going to close this one out. I just wanted to address that. These are the ones that I like. So I have 2 to share with you right now that are done, and then I'm going to create one together and show you where you can find more pictures. This one was, I think we purchased this image. I don't remember, to be honest with you. It's been so long. But this one colors no matter what order you go in, right? So if you notice, right, I'm just kind of going out of order, and you can see that it's coloring no matter what I'm answering. If my answer is correct, I am going to have that immediate reward that the picture gets colored in. It also turns green and red if the answer is incorrect, right? So like, so that's 5. It's going to let me know that that's incorrect. Visually as a teacher, that makes it easy for me to grade. I can go and I can look at which questions they missed and just kind of try and find patterns if I need that. Okay. These are all reformatted when you want to go in and put your answers and all of that. It's all the same on sheet 2, and then we're definitely going to dive into that, okay? With these older ones, I'm slowly working my way formula so that they answer in any order. Yeah, so I've done the same, right? So I've reworked. This one was one of the older ones, and so was this one. I've never shared this one before. I'll share this one in a little bit. And I just fixed it today so that they can go in any order. I just did that today right before the live. It doesn't take a long time, but when they have the numbers though, the kids get confused, right? Like they answered question number 10 and number 4 was colored in, right? Like I think that throws them off a little bit, which is why I don't use ones that have numbers anymore. I hope that makes sense, right? Because you can't really control what colors. It's whatever progression you set it. So it just kind of takes a little bit of that magic away if you have the numbers in there. All right, let me share this one now in the chat. And again, it's a slightly delayed. All right, so this is the Harry Potter crest. And I'm gonna once again share it on Facebook. Link 2. All right, so again, this one, when we get to the reformatting part, it's going to work the same. Now you just have a free template to add whatever questions you want to in there later. Hi, Cami. Thanks for being here. Cami has an awesome luxury YouTube channel for like my other videos, right? My regular weekly videos are about handbags. Totally different than the teacher ones. All right, so here's the next one. This is the one that I was telling you guys I just fixed today. I really like this one, not just because I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, but because as the kids are, because it's all one color, right? That's just brown. Notice the little words that come up here. So almost, right? Keep going. You rule. There's a little heart there. So this one just kind of colors in a fun way. If you notice, this is just how it goes in. All right, so this is the one I just fixed today. I really, really like this one. So I'm going to share this one as well. This is link number 3. And now you have another template if you want to work with this coloring sheet. And copy. Okay. And let's share it on Facebook as well. Link number 3. And of course, it's always encouraged if you take these and you make anything out of them, like you put your own content in it, the teachers on our Facebook group 100% appreciate it if you go back and you share that and it's ready to go, because a lot of teachers don't take the time to reformat or put their own in there. So yeah. Oh, Cami, that would be awesome. Please do. They'll definitely get a ton out of it because these are all free. So things that they can use in their classroom. Okay, so perfect. We'll go back. Again, sheet 2. These are the questions. This is a 10-question template. The previous one is a 12-question template. And the one that I'm going to make today is a 9-question template so that I'm not repeating myself over and over, right? If you see me do the same thing 9 times, it just works the same for the 9 question, the 12 question, the 16 question, the 25 question, all of that. All right. Okay. Now, I'm going to keep this one. Actually, this is the one that I'm going to be using, this 9-question one. It's coming out of a puzzle. I'll show you how to work with the puzzle later as well if this is your first time seeing them. But this is the one that I'm going to be working off of once I have the coloring sheet, because I can resize a bunch of things and make it work with whatever size. So it just kind of adds to any questions that you might have, and I can address those if they come up. So this is the page that I like to use. It's called coloringonline.com. Super easy and simple. I'm going to share this also in the chat here. And I'll talk about why I like this one. So coloringonline.com, it has a bunch of pictures that you can choose from. You're just, right, so we start off with mandalas, animals. There's ones for kids, kids transport, right? So a lot of kids like trucks and things like that. That's all in here. Housing, so a bunch of different buildings, and nature. Okay, so there's all kinds of different pictures that you can use from and color here, and this is what I like using for those coloring ones. So I share that in the chat, and this is the one that I picked today. And so this is the one that I picked to use today. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to make our picture progression. So the order that you color your coloring sheet in is the order that your students are going to see it in when they start answering their questions in your template. So first we need the blank sheet, right? So this one that has the picture that hasn't been colored in at all. So this is why I love this site. So we're just gonna go here where it says picture, and we are going to save image as PNG. And here it's saved right there. Right, so it's in my downloads. So now if I go over to this page here, let's share this one because this is where our template's gonna go. And paste and copy, so we can start working. You can make a copy of this one while I share it on Facebook. This is link number 4 on Facebook. And I'm going to make a copy. And we're going to call this coloring sheet flower. I'm going to share this because I will end up sharing it later as well. So, okay. So now on sheet 2, I'm going to start changing that image. All right, so this is my blank image. It's going to be that first one here. So I just clicked here at the bottom on sheet 2, and it's on L22. So I'm going to just delete that one. You don't have to delete it, but just so you can see where I'm at right now. So I'm going to delete that one right there, and I'm going to go to Insert, Image, Image in Cell, and then directly from my downloads, I'm just going to drag and drop it. All right, and now there it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase all these. So here's my picture. All right, so now we have to start building that picture progression. Okay, so this template has 9 questions. So I need to be done with my picture exactly how I want it to look by picture 9, right? So I'm gonna download 9 different ones. Okay, so I'm gonna start with, I'm gonna pick the color green, and this top one is solid. You have a bunch of other things. If you want a different kind of green, you can mess with the color wheels here. But let's start with that dark green, and I'm going to color this. You can do different colors if you wanted to. I'm not going to get that creative, but do that. Okay, so that's going to be my first one. I guess we can do this. That should be brown. All right, let's do brown too. So you can do more than one color because we only got 9 questions to go, right? So I'm going to do brown here for that part. All right. Now I have to re-download this picture. So I'm going to go to Picture, Save Image as PNG. Here it is. Go back to that coloring sheet. And now that's going to be my second picture. So I'm going to go to Insert, Image, Image in Cell, and then just put it right in there from those downloads. Now, when I answer the first question, whatever that question may be, it's set up to answer number 1. Now that's colored in. So you don't have any questions yet? Because I'm happy to answer them. I know that maybe the most common question was, where do you get the coloring sheets? There's a lot of different places, but this is the one that I like because it downloads so nicely for me. And it's very easy to work with, and there's tons to choose from. But I will keep my eye on the chat, and then I'm going to keep going. So let's just kind of color around here. Let's do this like pink. Oh, the solid black. Yeah, so you could, with these, you could change the color of the background. Let me see if I remember how. There's a way to change it. Debbie is the one that does a really good job with those. Changing them to black. I guess you could always color the whole thing black and then start changing the colors that way. Let's check if that works. Pivot. Let's pivot away for a second. This is this is why I like these kind of lives, because questions come up that force me to answer. Okay, so here's this little guy. What happens if I color the whole thing black? I wonder if it'll still recognize. I've never tried that with this site. You were typing that you like the lives because these questions come up? It's like you always learn something new, you know? It's like, this is the best way. All right, let's see if this works. So this is what Caroline means in the chat. If you look at, well, one of the Harry Potter ones that I shared, right? It starts black and then the brown pieces start showing up. Kids really like that too, because it's not, they don't know what the final picture is, right? They're kind of starting to figure that out. Okay, so you would start with a black screen. And let's see what happens if I, there's my turtle. I guess you can have like a different color background in your in-between steps. So now I can make his shell black, green. Oh, I'm going to go back and I'm going to color that black. That works. That's what I would do. Right, so now I can download this. And then for my next one, I would color this background again, because I need to see where I'm at kind of. And then, right, maybe this is purple. Go back and make this black. And then I would re-download this. Hey! I'm glad I never let you down. It's like my favorite thing to do too. I know this is like a constant discussion with my husband when he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm making a pixel activity. Or I'm making a puzzle. And it's like, why are you doing work? It's the summer. I'm like, this is fun. I like this. I like messing with my Google Sheet and getting something new. I have to do the scavenger hunts. I'm going to do the scavenger hunts next, I think. Well, I got to do pixels first because I've gotten a lot of requests for pixels. But after that, so not next week, the following week, I'm going to do scavenger hunts because there's a lot of coding on that. That's super fun. My kids have had so much fun with the scavenger hunts this year. I reserve them for the end of the unit, and they get so excited to do their reviews. They actually do a really good job on them. But pivoting back. Okay, so from black. But I'm not going to do that for this one because I'm going to close this. Turn it all black is what I did. Colored it all black. And then in between steps, I would color the background some different colors so you can see where your image is. But let's close this and leave. And now let's go back. I haven't downloaded this one yet, right? I lost my space. Okay, so that was number 1. And this is going to be number 2. That's pink. Let's do some, if you can't tell, oh, darn it, purple. If you can't tell, I'm not very creative when it comes to coloring. This is why, if you care to know, after I made the formulas, Debbie totally took over making the coloring sheets because she's so good. Like, I don't know, her creative color, if you see all those coloring sheets, they're all her. She would download the images for me, and then I would turn them into a template. Let's do that. I think that's okay. I don't even know where I'm at now. That one and this little piece right there. I think that's good for that one. So let's go to picture, save image PNG. There it is. Back to here. Sheet 2. Here's the next one. It's so clear to see where it is if you're using that puzzle, right? Because it's obviously a puzzle in there. Picture in cell, drag and drop. There it is. And now, number 2. There it is. Okay, next one. Let's put some yellow in here, because yellow and purple are the Lakers. Is anyone watching, anyone that's here, is anyone watching soccer? Argentina played yesterday. It was so nerve-wracking. And today it was like Germany and Spain in the other cup, the Euro Cup. Okay. Yellow. And I think I'm going to keep this. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, well, that was not good. Let's go undo. What? Well, you get one color for that whole background. I guess we'll leave that for the end. That'll be the last one. Maybe let's put a little bit more of that green here. And Again, I'm not very creative. I'm just making this very colorful when it comes to this. So download, save image as PNG. Here we go. Sheet 2. Insert image in cell, browse. And that's not what I wanted to do. There's a bunch of stuff in there. That. Drag and drop. 3. Barely at 3. There we go. Okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna finish this. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm gonna keep working through this. Let's change the color on this one to like a lighter pink for the flower. Why not? I like that. So it's gonna be a pink picture, a pink flower, and let's do orange back here. And this bright orange for this. Same thing, save image, coloring, insert image, in cell, drag and drop. I mean, that's a happy flower, if anything. Let's go back to a purple. I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna make that purple a little bit lighter for this part here. What? I'm gonna do every other. Do the background of those a different yellow. Okay. Now I'm just kind of going with whatever I feel like at this point. And I'm gonna save that piece. Insert image in the cell. And 5. Do that. Oh, I forgot that. Can't do that. Let's do these little pieces pink. Was that all of it? Well, I don't have that many left to go. Okay, well. We might have to, well, that will make a good one. We might have to shrink the number of questions, which will be okay. I did that again. Not browse. Usually I have them saved somewhere on my computer. Okay. I think I'm just going to end it at 8. I think I'm just going to do 8 questions. And then we'll erase that last one. So it's question 6, and then, so it's just those little pieces will be next. Okay, so let's make them blue. I already forgot which ones they were. So this, yeah. got them all. Save image. Okay. I like it when things come up here at the end. I guess I thought I had picked a good one, but I guess I hadn't. What color should I make this? The same one, I guess. I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest, because of the way those colors work around it, but that's, I mean, that's what we got with this coloring sheet that I picked. So I'm gonna download, save image, and insert image in the cell. Okay. So for now, because this is gonna be the last one, right? 7 and 8. Right, now it's done. Not sure if I like it, but that's what we're working with. Looks kind of like incomplete. But we need to erase this question number 9, right? On this one, it's as simple as just going through and erasing. Right? There we go. No big deal. Just like that. And what happened? Is this one of the old templates? It is. We're gonna have to change this. I hope you didn't make a copy of it yet. Well, this will be a good way to get into the, I shared the wrong one. Let me go into pivot. We are going to, now I don't remember which link it was. Okay, well, the next link is the one you're going to want to download. You're going to want to download this one as your question number 9 instead of the previous one after I fix it. So after I fix it, that'll be the template. But I will remind you at that time. So let's erase all of these. This is all we got to do. To erase an answer, all you got to do is highlight it, right? All of it. And delete. Ooh. Let's fix it first. So you have a 9 question template, and then I'll fix it. Let's do that. So this needs to be 9 here. And obviously it's a completely different picture. Let's just insert that same flower in here. Image. And boop. Alright, so it doesn't mess with anything for right now. Alright, here's where the learning happens. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna grab the, is this one the old app? Yeah, it is. Okay, let's close that one. I want to share this. Let's grab from my Harry Potter one. I know, it has to be, you have to be so careful not being able to see it, right? And I mean, I just gave up after a while. So this is as far as I went with this one and the sorting hat, and then she just took over. She's like, I got this. Okay, so big tip that I think I've given every single live, and I'll continue to do that. If you have a starting point already, it doesn't make any sense for you to start from scratch, okay? I don't even remember the formula. If I had to type it up from scratch, I don't remember. I have to always like check and test and check and test. So I'm going to use a formula that I already have and turn this one, right, while I explain what the formula is, into one that does not need to be answered in order, right? So if I erase this, it's back at that 4. I want students to be able to answer in any order that they want. Okay, so I'm going to turn that one into this. I know that I'm going to have to, and it's going to get scary, but I'm going to have to erase this one. Bloop. I'm just going to delete. And now this formula is gone. I'm going to go into the Harry Potter one because this one works properly. Right? We had already tested this one. And I'm going to double click on here And when you double click, the formula comes up. So I am going to copy this, Control copy, and I'm going to go in here and I'm going to paste it in this one. Okay. At this point, it's working a little bit, but it may not work at all, right? And it may not work at all, and that's okay, right? Because we have to fix it. We have to change it. We have to tell the formula what we wanted to do now with this spreadsheet, okay? But before I do that, I just kind of want to explain what the formula is so that if you have any issues with an existing one, you can come back into it and fix it instead of starting from scratch, okay? So I'm going to paste this formula that I just copied into the chat so that you can see it, because I think, maybe on your screen you can't see it, right? So I'm just pasting it into the chat right now, okay? So this is called the offset formula. So what this formula is saying is, what it's telling it is to look into sheet 2, okay, L23, okay, so that's where it's starting, sheet 2, L23, okay, that is the starting point of our picture progression right now. I wanted to start at the blank one here. I wanted to start at L22. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to change this to L22. Okay, this is the starting point of my formula. Okay, so when nothing is correct, I know that right now that seems like all of it is correct. This is the starting point. Okay, so starting point, and then sheet 2, R35, okay, R35, R35, this one right here, is what's making it progress, okay? An offset function is progressing every time the counter goes up by 1. Okay, so when the counter goes up by 1, it's going to progress the picture forward. Right now, R35 is at 0, which is why our formula is at position 0. Right? That's what the 0 is at the end. Where is the counter going to start? It's going to start at 0 on R35. Okay, so that's how you read the formula. So now I need to somehow make this counter go up 1 every time that an answer is correct. Okay, and that's what this part of the formula is. So again, I'll go to sheet 2. If you notice, on all of our templates, we always have this thing here, this counter. So if the answer is incorrect, I'm going to change this to 15. This is a 0, so now that's only 11. So the picture showing here is 1 minus 1. Right, so that whole picture minus 1, so this is 12. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go to this formula here. I am going to copy this. And that's all I need from the Harry Potter one. I'm going to close this. And I'm going to paste it here. Okay, let me paste that into the chat as well. Okay. Now let's read this formula because I got to fix it to match this particular sheet that I'm working with. Okay, you don't have to do this after. I'm just trying to explain the formulas because I think it's very illuminating when you know what the sheet is doing, so that then you can create your own later if you wanted to on a completely different image. Okay, so all right, let's click on it. If Q23, okay, so if Q23, that's where it's starting. Okay, Q23 is the answer here, is equal to, on sheet 1, G7. Okay, so the correct answer that it wants is on G7. Our correct answer here is on sheet 1, D4. Okay, D4. And then it's D8, D12. Okay, so D4. So I'm going to change this one to D4. D4. Okay, so if they're equal, it's going to give you a 1. If it's not equal, it's going to give you a 0. Okay, so if I make this a 3, now that counter is at 0. If this is blank, now that counter is 0. Okay, that's what I want. If it's wrong or blank, I want it to be 0. If it's exactly equal to it, then I want it to be 1. Okay, so I'm going to go back here. I'm going to put the 1 in here. Now I got to do the same for all the rest of them. I am going to drag and drop this down, and you're going to notice that these are all going to be zeros, and that's because it's progressing by 1, but our picture here over on the side is progressing by 4s, right? 4, 8, 12, 16. So I just got to go manually and input those. This one should be 8. The next one should be 12. The next one should be 16. 20, right? I'm just counting up by 4. Oop. I undid. 24 is next. 28 is after this. And 32 and 36. Okay. My numbers are all in here now. 1 for correct, 0 for not correct or for blank. And now, remember that our counter was on R35. Ooh, right here, R35. So the only thing I got to do now is put a counter in here. And the way that I do that is by using the sum function. So notice how it's already suggesting that to me. So sum, and it's very smart. I want the sum from R23 to R31. R23 to R31. I'm going to copy this and put it in the chat so you can see it. Copy. Okay. That formula now, if these answers are incorrect, right? If I make this 12, now that's only 8. When it's correct, that's 9. So now the correct answer is the 9th picture. And there it is. This is now fixed. This is what I want to share with you guys. Let me share the fixed one with you in the chat. And this is gonna, I don't remember what link number it is, but let's check the chat here. Whoa, that's not what I wanted to do. Where did my Facebook go? Oh, here it is. Link number 5. Link number 5. Corrected sheet. And I'm also going to put it in the description of the video that I'm going to put later. 9P's template. We're going to take off the... This is a description that I'm going to do later. So if you notice here in the description, I'm going to give you guys in the description of this video and the replay, the 9P's, the 12P's, and the 16P's. Okay. They're just the Harry Potter ones again, but you'll have them in the description to work with. Okay. Now now that this one's fixed, I'm gonna fixed. I'm gonna make a copy and flower. This one's 8 questions. Okay, that was a nice pivot. Now I can show you how easy it is to remove questions if you need to. Okay, so like I was trying to do earlier and show you that it doesn't mess anything up. I'm just gonna select the question, right click, delete. Are you kidding me? Now what? Sheet L22. It shouldn't mess anything up. Oh, it's this. Yeah, we just have to go and delete it. Now it's 8. Now it should work. There we go. Okay, crisis averted. You just got to delete everything, and that's it. Right now your picture is 8 questions. Okay, so if you need to shrink it, it's really easy. If you need to extend it, it's also easy. All you got to do is just add more questions down here, right? Move your counter below, and you keep adding pictures in here, and it's going to keep progressing, right? So it's also easy to add, but then you have to sit here and mess with this here on the side. Okay, so adding and removing is super simple. Now I'm going to go ahead and color this the way that I want to. This is going to be it's going to be a template. So title worksheet. here. Learning target. Okay, what I really like about these sheets is that you can insert, so I'm going to insert a row above, so I like giving myself insert column right, insert column to the left. I like giving myself a border. I just think it looks nice. Insert row below. And I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. I like that purple kind of. All right. What I like doing is I like making my background, right, similar to this picture, like the color this picture is. So I'm going to select anything on here, right? So I'm selecting that title of the worksheet, and I'm going to use this pick tool. Click on that, select that. Now I have that color saved in here, this same color. So I'm going to select the whole sheet now and change it to that blue. Right, so now it matches. I'm going to select the numbers. By holding down the control button, you can select multiples at the same time. And same thing, color picker, and I'm going to select this pink now. I'm going to make this one the same pink. I want to make the questions white, so they're easy to read no matter what. And I think I'm happy with that. Maybe I'm going to let's do that. I'm going to row above. I'm going to give myself some little more space on both sides so I can give myself a nice border. And row below, we can do like a purple. Now I'm selecting the rows and the columns, and I'm going to give myself this purple. Yeah, why not? Resize so that they're the same size, and not have a border around. Okay. You can make these bigger, you can make them shorter, you can resize this if you wanted to, like if you want the picture to be smaller or bigger, you can do that. It'll resize when you resize. Okay, this is the coloring template. Okay, so we're done with coloring sheets. It's been 48 minutes. I am going to now go through the process of adding answers in here, and then I'll quickly talk about the puzzles that I'm also sharing and how I use those. But let me know if you have any questions. I haven't gotten any questions in a while, but I'm so excited that I have 7 of you watching. That's awesome. Thank you for being here. Let me share this one. And that's the template with the picture if you wanted to use it. It's kind of funky. I'm just going to share it in the chat. I'm not going to put this one on Facebook. But okay, what I'm going to do with this one now is I'm going to put, if you want a template, make a copy right now, because then if you make a copy later, it's going to have content already. I'm going to make the same multiplication, because again, multiplication is the easiest, unless you have any particular one you'd like to make it. I'm curious how you grade, since you use these a lot, the pics of their work. Oh, that's a good question. I can't, right now we're in the summer and I don't have access to Canvas, but the way that I do this is I make a rubric on Canvas. What do you use for grading? Like Google Classroom, or like what's your LMS? But as I'm waiting to see if you respond to that, but I use Canvas, and I make a rubric on Canvas. When you assign and you make a copy for everybody, then you can see their work, and I grade it based on completion because I can see it, right? So it'll be, for example, 5 points. Perfect. So on Canvas, you can make a rubric, and then I reuse the rubric every single time because I grade them the same, right? So they're worth 5 points. 5 points if complete and correct. 3 points if 3 points if most of it is correct. So I'm just kind of visually looking to see that they've attempted it. I will give them 1 or 2 points if they at least started it, right? And they put something in it, and then obviously 0 points if they haven't started it. So there's 4, like, 4 things on the rubrics: 5, 3, 1, or 2, depending on the activity, and then 0. So when you're going through Canvas and you can see their picture, you just have to click on the rubric, right? So I'll click 5, and then next one, 3, and then next one. So then I know when I'm looking at their grade book why those points were given, right? So most of it was correct, some of it was correct. But as you're grading, you can see trends, or I mean, at least I can, right? As you're grading, you can see like, oh, a lot of the kids are missing number 3, or a lot of the kids are missing number 8. So things like that. So I teach virtually, right? So I teach virtually, so it depends, right? If it's the review, I do. I have like a worksheet that they fill out. If it's just homework, I just look at I just look at this for completion because it's not worth a lot of points. But if it is like more of like a high ticket item, I do have them turn in work, and usually I'll make some sort of worksheet to go along with it, or they would turn in written work. Because again, I'm virtual, so if they're doing their work on paper and take a picture of it, I would accept that. But yeah, so I do have them show work for certain activities. It just kind of depends on how much I want to grade, right? These are supposed to be more of like for my for my grading, more of like an informal assessment or some sort of homework, so I don't attach a ton of points to them. Then that way it just gets kids trying them. And then sometimes I have multiple rubrics, so sometimes they're also credit, no credit. Yeah, right? So just look at the activity quickly. Oh, I love that too, right? Just insert a picture of their work into the sheet. They can do that too. Yeah. The reason why I like Canvas so much too is because you can also, within Canvas, you can look at the history of their work. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I like Google Sheets for that. So you can always go into the history tab here, and you can see every single little edit that was made and how long it took them. Right? So if they messed with like sheet 2, you would be able to see that in there, like right here, right? Reference. You would be able to see that in their history. So like if that's why you're worried, if you're worried about like academic dishonesty, or some kid like finding your answers and then putting them in, it's really easy to tell based on the timing and how long it took them. That's all here in the edit history. So I do look at that if I'm ever suspicious. Yeah, right? So this little tab here, you can do that on Google Classroom too. It looks like a little clock, and you can see every single thing that was made. Every single edit. Down to like the minute and seconds. If you look at it, see like 4:47, 4:47, 4:46. So I know that these two happened within less than a minute, these 2 changes. I would honestly, I warn them about it from the beginning, because I'm virtual and I tell them what this is for. So they do get a 0 on the activity, and then we have a very strict policy on academic dishonesty. So we have to provide evidence of why we think the student was dishonest in their work, or why it doesn't show their own work. And I tell them that that's the first thing I'm going to look at. Yeah. So it just, they get a 0 on their account, and then it starts, they have to talk to the principal about it. So multiple step equations with a math joke. Oh, yeah. So I shared that one. That's an activity that I shared that was already created with the same thing that we're covering today, with the puzzle. So I'll share that puzzle. The algebras one, is that the one you're talking about, Patty? Oh, yeah. Canvas. But you can also see this on Google Classroom, right? So when you're in the grading, any way that you turn this in. When a kid turns this into you, you can see their history if you wanted to. Yeah, okay, so let me share what you're talking about. Okay, but before I pivot now, I guess we can make this equations. Does that work? Instead of multiplication, let's make this solving equations in one, or solving one-step equation. Solving one, I don't like that. One-step equations. Yeah, right. You can totally bust them for copying and pasting because in a matter of a second they typed in 2 paragraphs, and you're like, of course you copied and pasted. And it's like, these are receipts, right? Like this isn't lying. This is exactly what happened. Like it's literally saving your every move because it's saving your work so that you can go back. If you made an error, you can go back to your history. That's also a really good use for this. Like, let's say out of nowhere your sheet's not working anymore and you're like, oh my god, it was working 10 minutes ago. Well, you can go back to 10 minutes ago, right? So I could go back to here and I can restore this version if I wanted it, like before I deleted everything. And when you restore that version, it just goes back to there without you having to click like undo, 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 undo. So this is a really good way to get your work back. All right, so let's just put in some instructions here. Solve each equation. Type your answer in the answer column. If your answer is correct, it will turn green and reveal a portion of the image. Or I guess not reveal because this is a coloring sheet, and color in a portion of the image. And answer in the answer column, and I'm just going to put in here just the number so we're more specific so that they're not putting like x equals. Okay, so let's see, how do we do this? Because I also want to bring up, I brought this up before, but I like using this page called symbol salad. Symbol salad is great for math type, right? So this is text and it'll see it as text, but if you want to use like the division symbol or the inverted question mark, if you're teaching Spanish, all these fractions, subscripts or superscripts for exponents, you can find all of that here, okay? So all here's the square root, the integral, the infinity symbol. So if you teach math or you need Greek letters somehow for like statistics, this is what I use, symbol salad. And the reason why I need this is because I want the multiplication symbol, the little dot. Here's a degree symbol if you're teaching degrees, but here's the bullet. This is the multiplication one that I like. All right, so let's do, for example, 2x equals 24. That's an easy one. Let's start off easy. All right, so now I'm going to select all these because obviously it's not where I want it to be. I'm going to center it and center the text. I'm going to make this nice and big. I think that's a good one. And then I like to put spaces in between, and then I want to make my variable italics. And I might change this font. I like, is it Amiri, the one that I like? Yeah, I like Amiri. That's what this font is called for math because it makes the variables look like variables when you italicize them. All right, but 2x equals 24, the answer is 12. I'm adding it in here. Obviously now this is the incorrect answer because it wants the answer to be 1. So on sheet 2, under question 1, I'm going to change this to 12. And then you're going to see this turn back into 1. Now this is correct. Does anyone want to, this is why I don't like coming up with questions on the fly. Because then I get like all stumbled. But let's do x plus 12 equals 28. I'm so not creative with these equations. Sometimes it just, yeah, there's that one. So the answer would be 16. So 16. Usually I don't go back and forth like this, right? I would put in all my questions, I would put in all my answers, and then I would go back to sheet 2 and I would enter all those. So let me just come up with some questions. Let's do x minus 2. Ooh, okay, I like that one. The thing is that 3 minus x, I don't think that's, I mean, isn't that technically a 2-step equation? I'll put it in here, but 14. That's going to be 24. But I'll put it in here. 3 minus x. Oh, let's make that one the last one. It's like a challenge one because the x on the other side. 3 minus x equals 1. All right, so that's going to be 2. Right. X divided. Okay, so x over 7, right? I can do this equals 6. Or we can go in the symbol salad and use the division symbol too, if you wanted to, which is why I love symbol salad. Right, so if I wanted to do that, you could. But let's go back to that slash. I think kids generally understand that that means division. It's going to be 42. Let's do 3x equals 15. It's going to be 5. Oh, well, good. That question is 5. So another plus 12. No, I keep going for 12 for some reason. 8 plus x equals 19. And let's do another division. X divided by 9. Oh, good. Yeah. So math type works, right? When they're in the computer, I mean, it's okay. And this would be 63. Okay. So now, right, these are the ones that are incorrect. 24, 42. So this one needs to be 24. This one needs to be 42. And then the last three, 11, 63, and 2. 11, 63, and 2. Okay, my counter is at 8. My answers are at 8. And here is my complete picture. Oh, you mean if you wanted to put x over 7? Like to actually, so that it looks like that's personally what I like. I like to do that instead of using a slash, and this is how I do it. So I'll show you real quick. I use PowerPoint for that, and I showed this on a previous one. I use PowerPoint so much. I think on the last one I was showing, this is what I did, but this is what I would do. So I would open up a PowerPoint. I would insert a equation. So insert on PowerPoint equation. It just puts it right here. Okay, come down here. And what was it? X over 7. Right, so I'm going to go to equation. I'm going to put in a fraction. I'm going to do x over 7. And then that was equal to 6. I'm going to make this as small as I can here. And then I'm going to make this font really large. And the reason for that is because when you have a large picture and it shrinks, it keeps the same crisp font. If you make a really tiny picture and it has to be enlarged, then that's when you lose some of the pixels in between there and it doesn't look as crisp. So I'll make this I think that's good, 72. All right, now that I have the equation here, I'm going to go to save picture as, and I'll just call it number 1 on my desktop, save. And now when I'm in here, I'm going to go to insert image in cell, just like we did that. And then I'll just grab that picture that I just saved. And the reason why I like this, the reason why I like that PowerPoint is because now let's say this were a different color. Let's say you had chosen to make your thing yellow. It has no border, so it's going to take on the color. And it's not just going to be whatever screenshot you have. You're not going to be able to tell that it's a picture in there because it's really just saving that font. Let's make this one too then. X over 9 it equals 7. Back to the PowerPoint. X over 9 equals 7. Save picture as number 2. Yeah, right. So this is, I love this tip, and that's how I'll make mine. So anytime that you see equations that I've done, I work a lot with logarithms and things like that when I taught Algebra 2 or statistics. So I typed them up in PowerPoint because I like how it saves it borderless. Because of that, because they look smaller, I'm going to make these smaller. Let's make this 24. And then I'm going to make these a little bit smaller here. That way they're in better shape. Does that look nicer? All right, this is now a finished activity. I'm going to call this solving equations, solving one-step equations. One-step equation coloring sheet key. All right, but we need to hide the answers. So again, I've done this before. When I'm going to go in here and hide the answers, I'm going to delete what I don't need. I don't need any of these titles. So I'm going to erase all that. I'm going to hide the pictures. I'm going to select the column and hide. And then anything that has text, I'm going to select it and change the font to size 1. I'm going to right click into conditional formatting. Right click, view more cell options, conditional formatting. Change that background to white and the text to white so it disappears. And then we're going to go from, this is the part that Julianne does that I love now, and I do it every time now. From B to Z, make it really tiny and hide. And now once all of those are gone, you make this one really tiny and then really tiny that way up. Oh, select all and make that really small. Now you can't see any of them. Now from here, we're going to right click and hide the sheet. And now I'll share this completed activity in here. And here it is in the chat. I'll share it on Facebook later with the picture. And I'm going to share it in here. This is going to be the description later. So this is now the completed activity for coloring sheets. You know where to find coloring sheets if you need them, at least the ones that I like or where I like to play with. We talked about symbol salad, and now I just want to show you the puzzles. So these are the ones that I'm sharing. I'm sharing 9, 12, and 16 because they're the ones that I use the most, 9, 12, and 16. There's tons of other ones. Debbie sells a lot of these puzzles. If you wanted other colors, you can buy just these puzzles. I think it's like super cheap, like $5 or something like that for a bunch of different colors. But these are multicolored and you're free to use them. They're going to be linked in the description box. But in essence, what you do is this makes the picture progression for you if you don't want to use a coloring sheet and you want to use any picture that you have out there. Okay, so the way that you edit it is you select the first one, you go to background, and you choose an image from your computer. It could be whatever you want. I am going to select this 4th of July one because why not? I have it there. So I'm going to go to open. And then it's really important that you hit add to theme. When you click add to theme, it's going to add it as a background for all of the other ones. So now if I go to a slideshow so you can see what's going on, every one of these slides has the picture on the background and it's already made so that there's one puzzle piece that goes away each time. So here's the one in the corner, there's the other one, the last one, right? So there's a little piece popping out every time there's your 4th of July image. Okay. And what I like to do is on the last one, I like to get rid of the puzzle altogether. So I'll just sometimes delete this last one so it doesn't look like a puzzle anymore. So now to bring them into your drive, instead of having to sit there and color a bunch of them, right, which takes forever, you can just download the puzzle. So file, download, PNG, right? And you would download every one of these as a PNG, one at a time, so then you can upload them the same way we did the coloring sheets. I use the puzzles so much too. I use the puzzles a ton because they're so much faster than the coloring sheets, and I use the puzzles also so much because I can use whatever picture I want. So I shared in the last live that I have a lot of, now that I'm teaching virtually, I have a lot of kids that are there because they're like artists. So they'll share, for example, if they're a soccer player, they'll share a picture of them playing soccer, or if they draw, they'll share a picture of their drawing. And I like to turn those images into an activity for the class and just kind of celebrate like the diversity within the class, right? They do so many different things, and obviously I get permission from them first. But once I use the first one, I'll have students sending them to me. Mrs. Corral, can you make this one for me? Mrs. Corral, can you make this one for me? Can I be the next one? Can I be the next one? So I try to incorporate that since I use them so often. And this is the fastest way to do it. So the puzzles. All right, but I am sharing again. What is the difference or reasons for slides 1 and slides 2? Are they the same? This one and this one on here. So slide 1 has the full picture, like all the puzzles, and then slide 2, this one has been taken out. It's kind of hard to see because of the picture behind it, right? But if I change the background to like just the color. Yeah, exactly. So the first one is the background that like you would start with. Yeah, okay. And then on this next one, right, this puzzle piece is the one that went away. Let's change it to something else so it's, I could see why it's hard to see. Or actually we could change it to a color. So let's change it to white. Right, now you can see like that white one, the next one, the next one. So it's just the piece that's going away. Yeah. Again, here's a description that I'm going to put on the video when this is over. Where did you go? Here it is. I'm sharing the 9-piece. So the first 3 on the description, the 9-piece, the 12-piece, and the 16-piece, it's this. it's the Google Slides that has the puzzle in it. And then on the rest, the 9-piece template, 12-piece template, and 16-piece template, that's the Google Sheet that's already set up for 9, 12, and 16 pieces. You can always add more questions or remove questions if you wanted to. Like, you can download the 16 and then just take a bunch of them out. Or you can download the 3 that are already made if you are inclined to do that. The coloring sheet activity, and then the one we just made during the live, which is this one. I think that's all I got. Unless you guys have any questions. I think this was my longest live yet. It's an hour and 20 minutes. I will do another, I'll go live again next week though. Next week I'm going to go live on Sunday at 9 in the morning our time, 9 a.m. Pacific, and I'm going to go over pixels. And that's because I'm not home on Friday and Saturday. But I will be going live every single week. I would love it if you gave the video a thumbs up on your way out. Just like it, because it helps it get seen. And subscribe. Let anyone you want know, because I will be going live every week, once a week, even if it's just a work session. And anything that I make during the lives, I'll share for free, as always. You're so welcome. Thank you so much for being here and for being so active in the chat. Now I don't feel so alone. The last two, I was kind of, Patty, you were here on the last one. Thank you. One of my first ones, I was like completely alone. But yeah. Awesome. Yay. Caroline, how hot is it down there? The math bros, let me share it. It should be, but let me share it just in case. I'll share it right now. Just give me a sec. I don't mind being here if, as long as there's questions, right? I lost my train of thought. Oh, coloring sheets. Coloring sheets. Don't mind me. I just had it. Oh, because that's not a coloring sheet, that's a puzzle. Okay. Maybe I'll look up algebras. I just had it because I just shared it today. Patty, did you want the one with the equations, or just like this is the template? Let me share this. Here's the template if you wanted to add whatever questions you wanted. You're welcome, Rambo. What a cool name you have on here. Oh yeah, I know, and it's so hot here. Okay, so this is the algebras template. So when you type in, right, the answers, so you can have that one. It's in the chat. If you're watching the replay, you can grab it from the live chat. It'll stay there. And okay, let me find the one with the equations. Look at all the stuff I have. I'll be sharing this as I go. This is my drive. And where are you? I swear I just shared it today. Variables. That drive me crazy. Functions. One and two step equations. I found it. Here it is. Okay. Here is the algebra ones. Oh, good. Okay. It's in the chat now. So this one's the one with the answers. Obviously, before you assign it, just delete the answers. But at least you have the answer key. I'm trying to close out. Are you guys doing equations, or because I have tons of other ones? I like this one. Is that where you're starting? Yeah, I'm in California, so it's hot here, man. Do you want this one? I like starting with this one since we start with equations. post this one too. It's not a puzzle, but it's a block puzzle. Yeah, so this is one-step linear equations. Multi-step. This is multi-step equations, but I like that it says, don't just wish for a great school year. I like using this at the beginning of the year. It's in the chat. All right, everybody. I am going to log off. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. I really mean it. I know that I'm sharing all this, but I really appreciate you guys being here and asking questions. This is really fun for me. So I like sharing it out. So spread the word. I would love that. Today I shared that Algebros template and I got like 20 new subscribers, and it's so nice to see that people are using them because it does take me a long time to make them. The more people that use them, the more students that benefit from it, and I love it. So see you next week. And if not, if you ever can't make it, just keep checking those lives, right? Because you can come back and watch the replay later and get everything that I shared anyway. Okay, so I will see you guys next week. And if you have any questions, leave them in the chat or let me know on Facebook. However you want to contact me, I'll always answer, and I can make sure to answer those questions on the next live. Okay. Have a great day, everybody.